One of the great things the aquarium can offer is we have eco-tours throughout different parts of the local marine environment. And today we're at the Cape Lookout National Seashore with two of our volunteers from the aquarium, Peggy and Milton, where we're going to be doing some seashelling. We'll get some of the finer points of what to look for and some of the natural history about these different animals. Milton, tell us a little bit more about exactly where we are.
Well, we're at the Cape Lookout, and the opposite side of the bight on the ocean side. Behind us would be the rock jetty, which was completed in the early 1900s, approximately 1903.
So the lighthouse is just over the hill right here,
that's
just over
correct.
the side of the sand dune.
Right.
And we've taken a ferry, one of the ferries from Harker's Island, out here to the seashore.
It's only accessible by water. It's the only way you're going to arrive here.
No drive here.
No driving, no bridge. The nicest aspect of this particular stretch is that being owned by the public, which is, we own it. It's managed by the National Park Service. But in all intended purposes, what we see here today is what our sons and daughters, grandsons and granddaughters will see in the future. So it could potentially be to posterity, or certainly within many generations of life, to see the natural phenomena that we see on the beach.
If we take care of it, certainly.
Yeah,
now, Peggy, this is a great location for looking for seashells. Why is this such a good spot?
There is a lot of shells that come in, some from the Virginia current, some from the Gulf Stream, and there are just a lot of shells that live around here. We are blessed with really having a good selection.
So North Carolina is kind of unique in that it's in the middle of the country, so it gets the northern currents coming down, which is the colder water, and the species that are found in that environment. And then also the southern waters from the Gulf Stream, the warmer species also come up this way.
Absolutely.
So North Carolina is kind of in the crux of those two different ecosystems.
The Gulf Stream seems to split about Cape Hatteras, and half of it goes over to England. The other half will go to Nova Scotia or somewhere, Labrador. And then the Labrador current gets cold and then falls and becomes the Virginia current coming back down with cold water coming that way. That way we have shells from the south, shells from the north, so we have a long area of Outer Banks, and that's really good for the shelling. There are a lot of shoals, and a lot of the seashells love the shoals.
Well, today's a great day for looking for seashells. Two things. One is nice and sunny, there's no rain. Also, we're coming up in the low tide, so we'll have a little bit more beach exposed that we can look for. And so let's see what we can find here.
Okay. Good.
Now, Milt, I found this one shell that obviously is not the normal coloration. We find a lot of these shells on the beach. They're all blackened like this. Why is that?
Well, you first thought, is it becoming a fossil? That would not be a good answer. The answer is that this, in all probability, was exposed to no air or no oxygen, and therefore the iron in the surface, in the water surface, or on the land surface that it covers it, will invade the calcium carbonate and then replace it.
Now, I know a lot of people that are visiting here at the beach, they like to find the larger shells, and they typically would call them looking for conch shells, but that's not really what they are.
The large conchs don't usually come this far north.
They're more of a southern species, Florida.
Florida, Georgia, that's about as far north as they come.
So when they find the large shells up here, they're actually looking at a whelk.
A whelk. And we have three major cat classifications. We have the knobbed whelk, which is right-handed, which opens on the right-hand side. Lightning whelk opens on the left. And then we have a channeled whelk.
And so those can be quite large, up to 10 inches or so.
Up to 10 inches, 10 or 11 inches. Occasionally they'll get larger. The lifespan of a conch is only 6 to 8 years, and they grow very fast. But the lifespan of a whelk is 20 to 25 years.
Now, are there any restrictions or regulations about the collecting of seashells?
Right here, I don't know of any, except maybe a couple of gallons.
So it's more of a courtesy kind of thing. You don't want to leave something else behind for somebody.
Certainly you don't want to take live animals. No live animals.
A dead shell like this, make sure there's no hermit crabs living in there or anything.
Right.
And
run your finger in to see if it gets bitten by a hermit crab.
then you'll know.
Yeah, then you know it has something in it. And you leave it.
Now, Peggy, we found quite the haul here at Cape Lookout. We've got a whole variety of different shells, different shapes, different colors. And so tell me what I've got here. This is a really pretty shell that's got these really nice rays that are coming down through there.
Well, these are both Sunray Venus clams.
Okay, Sunray Venus clams, and
Right.
that's named after the rays of light that are radiating
Right.
from the center point. And why is this one this nice pearly brown color, and this is sort of this chalky white?
There, if you look closely here, you'll see the skin. This is a skin over it called a periostracum.
Okay, so this is a fresher shell. It's not been aged quite as long, and it still has this horny skin-like material
Right.
growing on the outside of it.
Right, and this one is free of that. It shed that. And this one, the color is, you can really see the color better when the periostracum is removed.
Okay.
When it comes.
This is a very nice shell here. What have we got here?
This is a knobbed whelk. This one has absorbed some of the iron sulfide and some of the iron oxide.
So it's got a little bit of black and a little bit of red on here.
A little bit of both.
Got both the colors.
And inside is that is not iron oxide, that is a natural color. They are orange inside, and see, this is the natural color right in here. Now this one is cockle shell, and it is probably the most common one we find. We also have that is a very common one, and it is an edible clam according to the birds and the other animals.
The animals certainly like to eat
it.
it, but people not so much.
The animals really like to eat it, and it's very common.
And what else do we have here?
This is the bottom valve of a bay scallop. The scallops in our area, we have several different kinds. We have the deep sea scallop where we get our large scallops. In this area, we only eat the mussel. I understand in other parts of the world, sometimes they eat the whole animal, but we only eat that. The bay scallops are the smaller ones, and this, I know it's the bottom valve because it's white. The top valve of the bay scallop is black.
Would have been darker, so it could help hide itself in the mud more.
Mm-hmm. As most creatures, the bottom is lighter.
Lighter and the top darker.
Now, not necessarily these. The Sunray Venus, they're usually the same on both.
They're mirror images of one another.
That's great. There's a whole variety of different shells here, and so when you come to the aquarium, you can talk to you as volunteers and learn more about the animals and the pieces of shell that you bring in, and learn more about their natural history.
Right, or they can tell us.
We have to think of these as sort of gifts of the sea. These things are here, and each tide reveals, as we found today, reveals those shells that were not here yesterday.
Well, Peggy and Milton, we really appreciate you coming out here to Cape Lookout with us to help educate us more about the shells that you can find here on this natural seashore. It's really great to have you along and to help transfer some of that knowledge that you've gained over the years to our visitors at the aquarium. Makes their stay and visit to the coast just that much more special.
Well, thank you.
Thank you very much.
We really enjoyed it.
It's our pleasure to be here.